Ooh, what is up, She-Hulkamaniacs? Welcome back to another wonderful Fake Nerds Watch with my favorite Fake Nerds boys, talking about She-Hulk episodes 3 through 4. We are missing one of our bros, Brandon T. McClure, but we are joined by the three of us. I'm Ryan, one N, one Y, and you know exactly where it is. I'm joined by Ben Magnet as well.
Excuse me, Ben the Magnet. There is only one Ben the Magnet.
The singular magnet. Sorry, Pokemon Evolutions. You don't get those. And Sparkz Witty. Hello, my friend.
Yes, I'm here, and I've just learned that Jamil has copyrighted my name, Sparkz Witty, so I'm afraid that I'm going to have to stop using it.
Oh, you can just go back to Sparkplug Wikowitty. You can go back to the OG.
The complicated one, yeah.
Yeah, the complicated one. Yeah. Bring back the felted friend. Yeah. Well, yeah, we are back in our 2-episode installments of She-Hulk. I want to go first because of the three of us here, I was the least hot on the show. I didn't dislike it by any means. I just didn't find it as funny as maybe I wanted it to. I want to say right off the bat, I think they found their groove. I think the writing is top notch. I think the characters are great. I am fully on board now. I loved episode 3, and I thought episode 4 was even funnier. I am so, now that they're into the show that it's supposed to be, and we'll talk about why I'm here now, because episodes 1 and 2 were kind of messed with before the show came out, right? So now that we're in the groove of what the show is supposed to be, loving it. I think it's fantastic. I think it is so funny. The 30-minute sitcom route is really working for me now. I'm so pleased to be here. Great She-Hulk show. How are you guys feeling?
I am also feeling the same way. I know I was pretty hot on the first 2 episodes, watching 3 and 4. This show was great. Mm-hmm. I don't understand what the hell people on the internet are being pissed off about, but I should know better by now. Mm-hmm. This show was awesome. I am having a blast with the show. I am really looking forward to every Wednesday now when a new episode drops. And I loved the Megan Thee Stallion episode, and I loved the Wong episode where he is Jennifer's client. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Sparkz?
Yeah. I was already pretty happy, so I'm all the more happy with the past 2 episodes. I think that episode 4 is everything I want this show to be.
100%.
In a lot of ways. We are talking about episodes 3 and 4. I just want to give the titles real quick, which is The People versus Emil Blonsky. Mm-hmm. And Is This Not Real Magic? I think the moment that episode 4 opened with our fake, our not fake, but our cheap magician unable to impress anybody in a world full of superheroes, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God, we're here. We did it. This is the show. Yeah, I think that the show still has a couple of issues, a few that are, I think, more transparent, more apparent to me with 4 episodes in. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to talk about one of them because I think it's just a broad about the show thing that only became clearer in episodes 3 and 4, which is I don't know how they filmed this, and I can't wait to see the assembled for this one to know. But I think there is something that happens. It's not clear when they're doing like wider shots of, more than just She-Hulk is on screen, and it's a joke. I'm not sure if Tatiana Maslany was there performing the moment that they're using for the CGI, because it feels like sometimes the timing of the real people having to react to her for the joke, or vice versa for the joke to land, is off. Sure. It feels like that's because maybe of not filming her in the for motion capture there or what have you, but like it is one of those things, because she's a fully CGI character, that sometimes those jokes miss for the part, because I don't think that they're filming them at the same take.
Just going off of the Megan Thee Stallion behind the scenes stuff we saw, and that was Tatiana doing all of the dancing and stuff, I have to imagine, at least for this show specifically, it's her doing a lot of the motion capture. I like to hope and imagine.
I think that's true. What I think might be happening is that the take that they do in the recording is not the take that gets motion captured vocally. Like if they ADR her after, for CGI purposes, I think that's what's happening, is that because that is not maybe the way she said it in the room or the timing of it, it's coming off a little bit because you are ADRing her so much as a CGI.
While we're on the topic of it, and again, like it's sorry, I'm not going to make a big thing about it, but like having a show where your main character is fully CG, you know, it is a common. It is, we talk about it weekly about, you know, special effects artists, VFX artists under crunch. You know, there are some shots in the show that look really, really good. Specifically, all the dating scenes I think look really good. All the facial stuff, like I think they put the time and money into those scenes. There are some walking scenes that look really, really bad. And it's and again, like I'm not faulting them. It's like they didn't have time to finish it, but I'm just like, man, I just wish they had more time because it's some shots. I'm like, this doesn't look good.
This I've noticed what like the big problem in the CGI for me is often, unfortunately, when she's in her suit, just like she is behind you there, Ryan.
It's like the clothing looks weird.
It's the clothing. It's not her. She looks good. It's the suit looks so like fake. Like it doesn't have weight. Yeah, it's not there. And it constantly, like, there's this part, I was going to bring this up specifically because like I don't have a problem necessarily with the twerking scene as like a concept, but what I do have a problem with is there's a shot where they just focus on She-Hulk's booty, but it's in the suit, and all of that is just suit CGI, and that all looks terrible, and I'm like, you just 100%. Shouldn't have done this shot. This just doesn't look good. And that really pronounced to me that I was watching it after that in episode 4 just so much. I was like, this suit is what's killing it. This suit does not look good. And we see her in other clothes that don't look anywhere near as problematic as the suit does.
No, the thing about it is, and I forget which podcast I was listening to or video I was watching, but somebody said that she looks like a professional wrestler woman in the 1980s wearing like a big suit that like she rips off to like become a wrestler, because it doesn't look like, even though she's big, it doesn't look like that suit fits her in a way.
Well, they mentioned that because the whole thing is like she's buying like large men's suits because that's the only suits that fit She-Hulk in her She-Hulk form.
Oh, and that does make sense, but
I get that. Good. It's not the size though. It's the way the CGI handles like the weight of it on her, the wrinkles, the way it sits on her. It looks fake. Like I can buy her existing. I am pulled out by the CGI of the suit because the suit feels so fake to me.
There's this is the first time that I've rewatched episodes of a show we reviewed in a long time, just because it's been a week since for episode 3, and it's only 30 minutes. Like I wanted to refresh myself on the jokes. But there's one scene specifically where her and Nikki, her paralegal friend, are walking down the hall, and I could see Nikki's like clothes rumbling and like ruffling, and Jen is like, I was like, oh, this needed a second round.
And that's
her, like, Jen's CGI is like absolutely perfect. She is in pristine condition. Yeah. Funny that you mentioned that, Sparkz, because I also noticed her suit, like her lawyer suit, a lot in the show, and I didn't really think about it. But there were times where like when Jennifer was She-Hulk, and I'm looking at and I'm watching her in her suits, and it's just like those suits just feel too clean.
Your eye catches it because it just doesn't look natural. Yeah.
I think that is like the big CGI linchpin. A lot of people will give shit about like the way her face will look at times or things like that. And even I think quite exaggerate how bad she can look facially and all that. I think they did a pretty good job with her, all things considered. It's the suit that I think is drawing them back, that is dragging the CGI down. And that's really unfortunate. It is one of those things where I'm like, I don't know what the fix is until they get her into, I'm hoping like a suit that is actually like tailor made for her will look as good as, like, we've seen shots that are coming up later in the show of her in like a like nice blue dress,
like a dress,
and like she has the purple dress and a couple of other outfits we see in episode 4, and I'm like, when she's wearing those, she looks great.
Even in the train stuff, when she's wearing like a crop top and like short shorts, like jean shorts, like that looked fine.
She looks great there, but something about the texture that they're trying to capture with the suit is just not working.
And it's just like a boring gray suit too.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I understand the logic of like the oversized look and everything, but like something about that and how many folds that should be creating around her because it is too big for her is just, it's not landing. And that's the CGI that I think is the biggest problem of the show. But that being said, I'm really glad that is the biggest CGI problem of the show.
Yeah. Because we see Abomination for a hot second. He looks real good.
He does. He looks great.
Sounding very much like Taika Waititi, but I'm okay with it. Like, hey guys, it's all right. We're all good. Sounding like cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely hotter on Blonsky this episode. I've grown into the more, this is who he's become, but I still believe you, Sparkz, that it's all a ruse. It's a 20-year ruse just to get him out of prison. He's totally pulling a Frost from Dragon Ball Super on us, 100%.
Yeah, I got mildly less convinced about my theory with this episode, but I think
that's why I need it to be true, because I don't totally love this. That's why I need it to be true.
There's a mid-season trailer out there. I don't know who's watched it and who hasn't. That they dropped for She-Hulk, and I was like, I'm caught up. I want to see the stuff. This is where photos of Charlie Cox from the show have started coming up. Mm-hmm. And in one of them, we know we're seeing more Abomination. Specifically, we see him with all his brides in his cult. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, I'm very interested in where we're going with that story.
Yeah, me too.
I think that the bit of having to bring Wong in, having to bring in like the pretenses of extra MCU, this is how the world functions, we have to apply these circumstances to Blonsky's case, is pretty good. I do believe he might have some other plan, but I do believe that like Blonsky saw an opportunity for his appeal, and in the middle Wong had pulled him out and he went back because like he didn't want to screw up that chance for appeal.
Yeah, he saw the opportunity here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still like, they don't need to go into it more. I'm still curious, why didn't Wong need to pull out the Hulk's nemesis to fight to be proven as Sorcerer Supreme? Why Blonsky's the person he chose out of everyone in the world? I'm curious about that, but at the end of the day, for the She-Hulk comedy show, I'm not too worried about it. Why, not some magician, some dude who's been locked in prison for 20 years, whatever. Though.
Yeah.
It doesn't really bother me. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I will say this is another one of those, like, I don't want to say weak. Yes, I do. This is another one of the MCU's like weak explanations for something that they create a setup of, and I think that this is where I think it often happens in the MCU, and it's usually the smaller things, not the big things, but they kind of like stir all the fans up about theorizing about, oh, so what does this mean? And like wanting to tease us and get us interested in watching a thing. And when we get there, the answer is really perfunctory and lame.
Not quite a Ralph Boner.
No, but it's very much like a, it's practically a non-reason.
Yeah.
It's like, why was Bruce in human form at the end of Shang-Chi and having his arm in a cast? Oh, it's just because this is the only way that my arm could start to heal.
Yeah, here's one line to explain it.
Right. And it's a similar situation here. And like, She-Hulk's not the only show guilty of this. This comes up in the MCU all the time. I feel like, but it does feel like, okay, well, that was a significantly less interesting reason and answer than everybody who saw Shang-Chi was thinking of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's just kind of an underwhelming conclusion to that notion. But putting that aside, I do think I think Wong, it comes out just a wonderful, like, having to work in with the concept of human law.
Yeah.
And like, okay, but I'm also the Sorcerer Supreme. So like
I have to say, I absolutely love it when Wong finally does show up to give his testimony of why Emil should be released, and the parole board looks at Wong and is like, Mr. Wong, just Wong, you do realize you just committed to breaking him out of prison, which is a federal crime. He goes, I need to go, and he just zoops out of there.
I must leave.
I love that where he just goes, I must leave.
Wong's now has a warrant for his arrest in the United States.
Probably.
That's really funny if that's like, I can never come back to New York City.
And then he immediately comes back to New York City.
Dr. Strange pulls him.
No, they're in LA. He immediately goes back to Los Angeles.
Oh, that's true. I keep forgetting. This is an LA story. That's true.
Yeah. He just bamps back into Los Angeles. He's like, Donnie Blaze. I love the Donnie Blaze episode. I love both these episodes. I think both episodes have a really good contained story, and I really think I just also love how I just love seeing Tim Roth as the Abomination again. I'm so happy they brought him back, and because for a while I was like, man, he was really good in that movie in the Incredible Hulk. And I just love how he's like, hold on, I can do this. And he turns to Abomination. Everyone's freaking out. And he's just like, it's okay. See, total control. Everyone's still freaking out. And he goes, shoot. He's like,
He puts his Crocs in like rest mode. Puts things down. Yeah. Do we think those pen pals are just pen pals? There's no secret. There's no ulterior motive. Those are just raunchy ladies who like criminals. I think they're just doing because it's a She-Hulk. If this were not She-Hulk, I would say yes, but this is She-Hulk, the comedy show. I think that's just what it is.
Yeah, possibly.
I just want more. I just want more from Emil. That's all.
I feel like after seeing those pen pals, because I was like, okay, well, my theory is absolutely wrong.
He knows all their names.
Yeah, he does. He knows all their names, right? So he could be using them too. He could be pulling a Lex Luthor in Superman Returns.
That's what I want it to be true because I want Mean Abomination back. To be honest,
I'm gonna throw out a theory based on just the formula of how this show has felt so far.
Throw it at me.
That I do know we'll see Abomination again. This is in the trailer that's out right now. Mm-hmm. We see him in his Abomination form walking amongst his ladies.
Is he in prison or is he somewhere else?
No, he's somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
And I'm wondering if what's going to happen is because he had to agree not to change, and he changed and he got caught, and we need an explanation of why was he changing. And it turns out that all the ladies want that Abomination D, if you follow.
Oh yeah, they got
and that's the case.
They got a fetish.
So she's gonna have to come up and defend him for that.
Those ladies would be murdered.
There's a part of me that's wondering if that might kind of be the zig this show decides to zag.
Futurama Death by Snoo Snoo?
Yeah.
Yep.
Those ladies want to go out.
So there's a part of me that's like, the show feels like it might head in that direction with this kind of gag.
If they're willing to go that far in the comedy direction, I'll allow it because that's such a swing. But that's bananas, little bomber babies.
I mean that one guy that Jen dated for a hot second. That was like when he was with She-Hulk. He's like Death by Snoo Snoo.
He was already.
They just want someone to play hide the zucchini with.
It's true. Hide the green zucchini. Let's see. Any more stuff we want to talk about episode 3? Because I really loved episode 4.
I mean I love the B plot, all about the Megan Thee Stallion imposter, the elf, the shape-shifting elf from Asgard.
The lawyer. Oh my god. Adrian Pierce from Arrow doing a complete 180, being a villain to being like the most charming guy on the planet. Love him. Oh my god, when he walks out, he's like, I love harassing women in the workplace. It's baby. I laughed so hard. You guys know me. I'm not like that. Like, man, that's some good comedy.
Also, credit because I also love Jennifer Walters' like fourth wall breaks. Like when Pug goes into the bar and he just sits down, he's like, this guy Bukowski, and she's like, oh, connecting the AB plots, nice. And she
pops into the screen and out of the screen. I'm like, man, they got it. This is
how they're all talking about how horrible Dennis was, and then of course he gets the idea, is like, are you willing to say that under oath? And direct cut straight to them in the courtroom. It's like, oh yeah, this is great.
Listen, when you're a New York 10 and an LA 11, you can get away with a lot.
I hate him so much.
That's how man, this show has gotten, with Dennis Bukowski and with Madison, some incredible character actors. Yeah. Like the type of people who show up in these type of shows and are so good at playing like this. Like, God, I love Madison so much I can't even explain it. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Go ahead.
I want to give credit to all the actors when they were being played by, when it was Runa. Mm-hmm. Like every single one of them. Like when the guy playing Bukowski comes in, he sits down and he starts talking, oh, I changed my mind. And he's like, what? I'm like, oh, that's Runa. And then and then of course it's like, I'm here. I'm like, I'm the light elf. Walks out, does the whole like, I love harassing women in the workplace joke. And he's like, no, you don't. Shut up.
Listen, Asgard is a home. It's a people. Listen, lady, that's not going to work in court.
Thor's speeches won't work in this American courtroom.
Good stuff, man.
Very good stuff.
But you're not in Asgard right now. Well, Asgard's not a place. It's a people.
And I would have been perfectly happy with like the one Megan Thee Stallion cameo with her in the back. Like, there's only one of me, baby. Like, beautiful. Love it. But I'll take a cute little tag at the end. Listen, a little dancing.
I would kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Dial it back.
Fun little thing. She's a superhuman lawyer. Does this mean Megan Thee Stallion has superpowers? Does she have a super butt? Is that what we're talking about?
No, she could probably still just serve a celebrity.
Okay, that's fine. Celebrity equals superhero too, because you're that famous. All out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they did a good bit with Runa impersonating the judge, all that kind of stuff. I think all that comedy really works. We also had the Wrecking Crew in this episode.
That's right. Briefly, yeah. Watching them again, they're only in it briefly, but like I find them so charming because like they're clearly idiots. The boss is getting mad at us. That's fun. The Wrecking Crew is like, they're so dumb. They have an enchanted Asgardian crowbar. Like, come on, guys. Like that's some real good comic book
stuff.
Did
you steal this from an Asgardian construction worker? Yeah.
I 100% believe that. Like 100%, they went to New Asgard and stole some shit. Like instead of doing the actual origin where like Loki's involved and all this nonsense, blah blah blah. It's just like, nah, we stole some shit.
Yeah,
like, he's got a helmet that he just runs into people with, like Juggernaut. Like, we made it, man. Comics are good. Comics are very good. Who's the boss, Ben? Ben, who's the boss? Who's the boss they're talking about?
I don't know.
Do you have any theories? Who came to your head? Did anyone come to your head when they said that?
On the boss, for the Wrecking Crew, I have no clue.
We just talked about this on the podcast for a moment.
So like there's a bunch of different, people that it could be. A lot of people are pointing the Kingpin. I don't think they're going to pull another Hawkeye and do another reveal of it being Kingpin when he's about to show up in 2 other shows.
Also, I don't think he'd like stretch his resources all the way out to LA for that.
Yeah, and I don't think he would need She-Hulk's blood. That's the most important thing. Somebody's asking for radiated blood, so it's somebody in the scientific world. So I posit, and now after D23, I even doubly posit that it's the leader, Tim Blake Nelson from The Incredible Hulk. Because I don't know how many other small scale like boss level villains who would want radioactive blood and use it for those kind of purposes. It could be like the Hood who's showing up in Ironheart, but I don't think he would. He's a magician. He doesn't need radioactive blood either. So my mind's pointing to the Hulk villain, and I think that'd be really cool. But again, could be a red herring. Could be nothing. Who knows?
Also, another great bit of the show where Jennifer is getting taken from behind and has her in a chokehold, and she's like, "Oh, wait a minute!" And she just turns into a Hulk.
Starts just screaming like, "Oh, wait!"
That sudden realization is like, "Wait a minute! I can take these guys."
Yeah.
She straight up just like throws a dude up into the air. And he lands on his neck. I'm like, "Oh, he not dead?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall, like episode 3 has a lot of fun stuff. I like the Blonsky wrap up. I really like that subplot. I like when Runa does her whole gag. And I think a lot of things foundationally get set up for like essentially this episode walks so episode 4 can run.
Yes.
Now I say that, but before we transition to episode 4, I will say that I kind of felt like I wish there had been one episode between 3 and 4 as far as like we just had Wong and then Wong comes back into the picture again. And I kind of wish there was this tiny gap there, mostly because I feel like we've said it before, and I do think this is another detractor of the show so far, is just I think it's taken us a little too long to get to the Titania stuff.
Yes, that is my big problem, especially after episode 4, where it's like, oh, the big setup for the next episode is Titania. And like, we're 4 episodes in and we haven't come back to our main villain yet, if she is a main villain, which I'm not even convinced she is anymore. Like, she's like a side villain.
They're really making it feel like she is, or at least like maybe not the boss that we're talking about. Like that might be a main thing, but like the main thing we're going to be dealing with throughout the season.
Yeah. I have to imagine she is like the overall quote unquote threat. But like we're halfway into the season now and it's just like, hey, now we're going to show up for a court battle with her. And I'm like, okay, I guess I need to know more about her. They're doing so much Twitter marketing for a character we have not seen.
Like the first episode came out and then immediately after she was like going out and doing publicity where she was like spray painting and putting up posters over She-Hulk posters and things like that.
Putting pictures up with Runa, like, look who I found. She's 100% right and stuff like that. Like, she's constantly in the marketing, and I'm like, where are you?
Jamila Jamil is clearly very happy with what she got to do with the show, and that's awesome. But like, I do think from the episode 1 reveal of Titania, it's taking us just too long to get to that character. It was weird when we didn't acknowledge it in episode 2. It's weirder that we didn't acknowledge it in episode 3. And sure, it comes up in episode 4, but only at the end as the tease up for episode 5. And I'm like, I just don't feel like it should have taken us to halfway through the season to get to this.
Yeah.
Even if we weren't like getting into it in full, I feel like there should have been like a single scene involving her by now.
And I said at the beginning at the top of like episodes 3 and 4, where I think the show are really like cemented to like what it is and like what they want it to be. Episode 1 we know was reworked from the end of the show. So episode 1 isn't really episode 1. So episode 2 is kind of like the pilot, and even then they had to rework stuff from them. So like I don't feel like the show really gets going until episode 3, really. But like if you don't do that stuff with Titania in episode 1, then all this buildup would be even worse because we don't even know who that character is.
Well, so that part was always supposed to be episode 1. The only part that was like for later in the season was the Bruce and the how she became a She-Hulk stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. I still think it's an odd way to handle your villain of the season.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. That we still don't know why she was there, why she was the first person She-Hulk had to out herself over and all that kind of stuff. What we don't really know what her deal is. Like
she's an influencer. That's all we know.
Yeah, sure. That's all we like. We know nothing in the context of the show. Like nothing has been given to us.
Is she a superhero?
I mean, she must be. She was able to bust through a wall.
But like she has superpowers. But like in the comics, she's like a villain, anti-hero sometimes. But like in like she's a super influencer. So is she not a superhero? Is she just someone with powers who's famous?
See, it's so impossible to say. I do recommend watching that mid-season trailer that's out if you like. It does have some more Titania primer material in there, but like obviously it's in the show. We'll get there. I just wish we'd gotten there a little quicker. Anyway, that being said, episode 4 is such a perfect comic book little like single issue story of like this is a She-Hulk issue with Wong featuring like Wong.
Monster of the Week.
God, like the whole bit at the beginning where when Madison shows up in Wong's place and he's like, call my lawyer.
The second Madison showed up, I was like, oh, I've seen this type of character before, but like in the Donnie Blaze stuff. But once she starts hanging out with Wongers, she starts spoiling Sopranos, and I'm like, oh man, I love you. Oh, she's so good.
At first, I thought I was going to be like, man, I am going to hate this character. But the more I saw her on screen, I was like, actually, she's kind of endearing, and I love how every time she calls Wongers. And even when they're watching The Sopranos and talking, and they just cut to the end zinger, to the tag at the end of this episode. I love how they have like a great little friendship now. They're just watching shows, and she's like, "Oh, have you had blue curacao? No. What's blue curacao? I don't know. I just know it's blue."
Have you had every alcohol like I have, Wong? Are you drunk like me?
When she pops out of the portal to where Wong is, and it's just holding the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had to sell her soul to a demon.
People who lived with like the blip are different.
Yeah.
They're built different.
I just love that like she's just been through literal hell, and when someone asks where are you from, she's like, oh well, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, and my dad lives in Arizona, and I'm like, what is your life, Madison, that you're just as normal?
One of my favorite things is I've seen many people I know, especially like people I used to work with for Not Scary Farm, have been posting the section from it where she's on the stand. She's like, first it was kind of cool, and then it was scary, but like in a fun way. And they're like describing trying to get your friends into haunts, like the exact assessment. Sign it over to this demon. I'm not supposed to talk about it.
She gives the drink to the plaintiff, like, you can finish it. I'm not sick, don't worry. God, every line, I was like, how is she this good? This shouldn't work as well as it is, but this actor's killing it, man.
It really did. Oh God. And then there's when Donnie Blaze has his defense team there, and she's like, oh my God, the lawyer's a magician. She's like, holy God. It was so good. It's just so much the comedy, and like that feels truly like the encapsulation of like what I want to see in the MCU from a show like this is because we are exploring that corner of like, these are people living with the everyday circumstances. What do those circumstances mean? Magicians are kind of boring.
Yeah.
So they have to get more impressive. So they steal superhero shit. And if they steal superhero shit, then the superheroes have to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And how do they deal with that? They have to deal with it in a legal system.
Yeah.
And it's just so comical.
Like Wong, we have to deal with like the book. The Book of Ashanti. No, the Book of Laws. Human law.
The Book of American Laws. Just like the whole time when Wong talks to Jennifer about how you get into Karmatage and how you become trained to become a sorcerer, she's like, do you have any of this in writing? No. He's like, do you have this? No. He's like, okay. And he's trying to be like, yeah, but this is like a sacred spiritual bond that you're warming. It's like, yeah, but unfortunately here we can't do that. We have to do it by the book.
You need documents, bro. Sorry. Donnie's hype man. He was like one of like the world's oldest actors. He's like 104 or something.
Yes.
That dude just like, he's like, yeah, what he said. He's like, are you just hyping him up? Maybe. Love him. Love that guy.
I can see the paper in his vest. No, you can't.
Nope. Wong obviously is no competition for Donnie Blaze, clearly, but he's still like slightly threatened. So he's like, you know what? I'm not threatened by you, but I can still beat you in my sleep. I'm like, Wong, don't fall down to his level. You're the Sorcerer Supreme.
And he just like turns his ear, spits the ball back. He's like, found your ball. Hey.
Wow.
Donnie Blaze.
I love how it's like, it can't like, okay, so when Wong says Donnie Blaze, it reminded me very much of Mr. Turner going Dinkelberg.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Where's Mordo when you need him to come take magic from people who are misusing it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, what the hell, Mordo?
God, the show slowly turns into like a Mordo show by accident. That'd be awesome. Man, I'm just so excited that this show. I now have a really good feeling, unlike Miss Marvel, this show is not going to get bigger in scope. I don't think it's going to get, saving the world, the dimensional shit. There was a line in the trailer that Wong was talking about, like the fabric of space-time is in the balance or whatever. He says that in this episode, talking about Donnie Blaze stuff. So I am clear of any worries about this turning into Avengers Endgame in She-Hulk.
I don't think it'll get world ending. I do think we'll get some kind of like larger conspiracy about trying to take Jennifer's blood, but like that will be the largest scale thing.
Yeah, there will be a big Hulky like battle, but like again, like we're not worrying about the dimensions collapsing or something. Like
right,
which is really
it's
cool.
Like, instead of saving the world, it's like, hey, maybe let's try and save 5 blocks of the city of Los Angeles.
Exactly. Her dating montage, real funny. Bunch of gross men.
Poor Jen. And poor She-Hulk. She just cannot win, and I feel so bad for her.
Oh, Jen's going to be demoralized.
The stare down for who's going to pay.
With the gross man? Got it.
Man, screw that
guy. Do we think there was a guy who called her a specimen, and he was like, hey, do you have invulnerable skin? What about vibranium? That's not a normal question people ask on dates. So people are speculating that guy's also a bad guy somehow or something, or connected to someone. How are we feeling about that one?
No, I would say no, because I'm like, if you live in the MCU and you're talking to a superhuman and you can be a nerd about that, you can know about that. People know about vibranium. That's not surprising.
Throwing it out there.
I mean, like, everybody knows about Cap's shield. Everybody knows about vibranium coming from Wakanda to some extent now.
It's true.
Now that the resources, right? Yeah. Now that the resources have been made aware, like, I don't think that's a weird question.
Yeah, just something I saw online, throwing out there.
Yeah. I think that's good, embracing, like, that is a good amount of characters within the world of the MCU can be aware of certain things. There are some times where I'm like, I don't understand how they're aware of specific events from a film, but just knowing about like concepts of things that exist or materials or things like that, I'm like, no, that makes sense. They should ask that kind of question.
Absolutely. I get that.
Oh yeah. So they replay one thing from episode 3, but then it also bleeds into episode 4. Which is Kitty.
Is that my baby?
Yeah, that's your baby.
That's my baby. I miss you.
Oh, which is what was it? Shoot. Jen's interview with the news.
Oh yeah.
The
diet exercises.
How they're talking about? She's like, oh yeah, funny story. But and the headline keeps changing, a la like Fox News style, where they're twisting her words. and all that stuff. And then it's like, and when we come back, She-Hulk's exercise and diet routine. Wait, what?
Blonsky does give a good line of like, they're gonna write your story anyway, so like you might as well be in front of it. And I'm like, damn, Blonsky, that's some smart stuff to give there.
And that's what Nikki was trying to do the whole time. So,
oh man, I love Nikki. She's so fun.
I
sent Wong a thirst trap. It was me and a bunch of books.
Oh, not only that, that was great. I love that. I absolutely love that. And then when she's like looking through her day profile, she's like critiquing her day profile. It's like, did you seriously use your corporate headshot? No, just no.
I really do like just going back to like Nikki and talking about Wong. This was an episode 3 bit, but she's like, Wong is either a wizard based in New York or a librarian in Carmitage.
Oh yeah, did you guys see his resume? What's on his resume?
No.
He worked at Target for 9 years.
Oh my God, he did.
He worked at Target.
I didn't see that. Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
He was a librarian at Carmitage, and before that, he worked at Target.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, this is a quality show. There are still a little bit of speed bumps, but I hopefully I think we will get over them once the Titania stuff. Really, that's the only thing. Really, is like let's flesh that out. Let's get to that point in the story, please.
Actually, I wanted to mention this when we were talking about the Titania stuff earlier. I forgot about the Titania stuff for a while. It wasn't until they kept mentioning like the free Titanium movement on the news, the little snippets we have. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's still a thing. Because I actually agree. I kind of wish the Titania stuff would, or at least it started to roll a little sooner. It started to pick up, but now that we're here in episode 4 and she was served the paper. Also, just love how Jennifer's like, cool it, buddy. I know what a guy serving papers when I see one.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
delivery.
It's like, man, Jennifer, I know you have Hulk powers, but damn, you really are a superhuman lawyer. Holy shit.
She's like, oh yeah, is that right? Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, Mr. Judge? Slams the door in his face. Love it. She's so good.
She is. You're right, Sparkz. I am fully in love with Tatiana Maslany. She is amazing in the show, and goddamn.
And I'm like, great. I understand people having different tastes, but like, man, that guy, and like he sees She-Hulk de-transformed. I'm like, man, you don't think she's pretty? Oh, come on, man.
Okay, I wanted to bring that up because like that beat didn't work for me. Like,
he's too nice for that to be the actual outcome, right?
You can't have a guy like unironically reading the other feminist, and then like that's the thing that makes him like it just didn't play to me. I'm like, this is weird.
Because she even tells him like, hey, I transform, and like your boss shouldn't have done that, blah blah blah. So like he knows that she transforms. Yeah, right. I know what they were trying to do. I think they probably could have written it a little better. Be like, oh, I'm actually, because like he does really seem like a nice guy. And they immediately just turn him into kind of like a jerk. And I'm like, but I hope that doesn't seem right.
It's another one of those times where like the intent of the writing, I think, is not clear to me because it's just like Blonsky, where I'm like, I wondered if I was supposed to be waiting for the other shoe to drop, like he was playing nice guy just to sleep with She-Hulk. And I'm like,
yeah.
At a certain point we cross the line where I'm like, that just doesn't make sense now. It feels like something else.
Yeah.
And then you get to that morning and I'm like, well, this just doesn't play. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
I feel like even if he didn't like her, he would have been still nicer about it. He wouldn't have literally just bounced. He would have been like, this isn't actually what I thought it was going to be. You're really sweet, but I got to go. Like that would have like, I think it was a weird moment.
Yeah.
Especially if like he can hang around while she's like doing the portal stuff with Wong, totally not even really reacting to it or being weirded out by it and just embracing it. It's a weird beat to have him walk out on. It just didn't play for me. That beat didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, Jennifer, why don't you answer your mobile phone? Never mind. I see you now.
I feel like your dad.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Or even when her dad does show up with all the stuff, is like, what's with the shovel? It's like to dig holes, and let's leave it at that.
Oh yeah, he's gonna murder these men. It's like, bro,
he's gonna dig their graves.
Love it.
But I do agree, because I'll agree that last bit was kind of poorly written with the date, because I was kind of rooting for her, and when he was listening to her, I was like, okay, this is something I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I was kind of hoping when he woke up and he's like, oh, so this is what the real Jennifer Walters looks like, a D power holder, maybe some of conversation, because I wanted Jenna to have a win. I wanted her to get that W. And then when he just ups and bounces, I'm like, oh, so you are only attracted to She-Hulk. Screw you.
Well, there's a certain redheaded, handsome lawyer coming into Los Angeles soon. I can only imagine that the sparks will fly between them. I can only imagine.
Does he also wear red sunglasses? Or
sometimes?
I will say that what Mr. Murdoch is doing is really working for her. I'll say that.
Hell yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
I feel like we're winding down a little bit, but I don't have the only major negatives I will say was that one scene, and also when we were talking about the CGI earlier. Mm-hmm. That's really the only negatives I have. The entire time I'm watching the show, I'm having a blast. I'm laughing. I am enjoying it. I want to see what else is going on. I love seeing her in the courtroom and just doing legal stuff and bringing in Madison and just like being so exacerbated by Madison, and then Madison becoming best friends with Wong. I thought was like, man, this is great.
Yeah,
I'm having a good old time. Cannot wait for more.
Yeah, I really like exploring the lore and world of the MCU through this lens. I think it's really working.
Yeah. I think that'll just about do it for this episode of Fake News Watch, my friends. So
yeah, it's really good. Yeah. I'm really happy with the show. I'm really, really happy with She-Hulk. I'm glad that it's like, it feels, I don't want to get hyperbolic in comparison to like the other shows or anything, but I think that the main thing is that it feels like it's creating its own space in the MCU. Mm-hmm. I think better than most of them have been able to, if they've even tried.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's trying to do its own thing while still being a part of something. Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't feel like, I feel like they're doing the thing. I don't feel like they're doing the thing, but it's like only as much as the MCU will allow you to do the thing. I feel like they're just doing the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes it feels like, but with constraints.
Yeah. 100%.
And like it's utilizing the MCU, but it doesn't feel bound and restrained by the MCU.
And generally, it's towards the end of these shows where we start to really feel that. So again, much like is the case with almost all of these shows, Ms. Marvel was able to get away with it, mostly luckily with that final episode. We'll see. I got a good feeling about this one though.
Do you know what else is Do you know what else is probably frankly helping it? Having 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying. I'm not feeling like, oh man, we're like wired up, and I probably would be, if this were a 6-episode series for some reason, then I'd be like, wow, this Titania stuff came up way too late.
Oh my God, could you imagine if this was 6 episodes and we were getting our villain next episode?
But it's working. It's working so much better as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that this show is using the MCU to its strengths mostly. Mm-hmm. Like we're using like the stuff with Emil and the stuff with Wong. I feel that they're having fun. Like the writers of the show, it's like, hey, we're in the MCU. What crazy lawyer shit can we get into? And they're just running away with it. And I feel like if the show keeps going, I mean, obviously Titania is like the main plot, or at least we presume, they could still do some really great things with the MCU down the line. Right. So I am very much looking forward to what happens. And also I really hope, I don't know if we talked about this. I don't know. I just woke up a few minutes ago, so I can't really remember if we talked about it on the podcast, but I really hope the show gets to season 2. Or at least Jennifer Walters shows up more in the MCU as a lawyer. We get more lawyer stuff. Cause I think this would having like a procedural lawyer show like She-Hulk with like a main underlying plot. I think it could work very well in Disney Plus, and I would love to watch it.
I think
She-Hulk, you go.
No, I was going to say, I think we're living in the year right now of the MCU Disney Plus shows where these feel like the ones that are designed for like being shows. We're talking Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, this. They're the ones that it's like, nah, you need like episodes. You need episodes and you need seasons to spend time with these characters. They individually are not movie characters. I don't expect to go see a She-Hulk attorney movie.
Yeah.
It works as a show.
She will show up in movies, but
absolutely.
It will not. It will not be her movie. Yeah.
I would definitely. I mean, She-Hulk. Obviously, she's going to show up in films, but out of all the shows I've seen thus far, I feel like She-Hulk is the one that deserves multiple seasons because as the films go on, more lawyer stuff can pop up and more stuff that they can do with said lawyer stuff. I would love her to represent Shang-Chi in a trial for some reason. I don't know why, but I would like to see it.
That's the fun thing about specifically the She-Hulk show is like yes, she is a superhero with superpowers, so she can do all the superhero stuff like every other character does. But she's also more than that. She's also has a regular job as a lawyer, which is its own show. There are millions of lawyer shows by themselves. So having a superhero plus a lawyer show, like literally, you can have like a lot of these like network, like 22 episode shows, Law and Order, whatever. Like they are cameo. Like they have celebrities showing up every episode. Like She-Hulk said, like, oh, don't expect this to be a cameo like centered show. If it was, I don't think I'd hate it because that's kind of like what like we read the Shield comics were superhero show.
Let's acknowledge that it's like this is going to be a cameo a week, except for Blonsky and Wong.
Yeah. Just remember
Bruce.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then she's like, okay, but remember whose show this actually is, okay?
Yes. Yeah.
She-Hulk is a show where cameos, people showing up, like, does make sense more than her randomly showing up in like an Ant-Man movie or like Falcon Winter Soldier or something like that. Like She-Hulk is a show that makes sense where people come to her. That's what happens in the comics. They come to her.
Imagine her having to like help like cement some contract or law for New Asgard. So it's like her and Valkyrie 100%. Working out something.
Or like small businesses fighting against like the department of the what is it called? What are they called? Damage control or whatever. Like
damage control.
So many things.
That would be like legally an interesting way to go against damage control would be really good.
Or she represents Scott Lang because footage of Scott Lang stealing something popped up and she has to defend him.
Something like that, absolutely. All those things, everything is possible in the world of She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Daredevil's 18 episodes, so it would not shock me if we get a little bit of cameo back where he needs some help from her, and it gives an opportunity for a different like tone inside of her if we get something not set in her wheelhouse.
Oh yeah. Her showing up in New York and it's all gritty. She's like, "Ew, this place is gross." Why do you live here, Matt?
She walks down and is like, "So this is Hell's Kitchen? Yeah, this definitely does feel like hell. I don't want to be here anymore. Take me back to LA, please."
Also, I'm still not ruling out a Jessica Jones appearance before this season's out.
Yeah.
Oh,
I believe it.
Awesome. I'm for it.
She needs a private investigator to go after Titania to find all that information. And there's only one person for the job.
Matt knows somebody.
He does. True. He does know someone. Bloody hell. This show has a lot of potential. Not to say the other shows don't have potential, but this one, as just like this show being able to cross over and bring other characters in, has so much potential. Like we just named off like how many different characters that they could bring into the show for stuff.
All of them.
Yeah,
man.
Everybody needs a lawyer.
I really hope they make more seasons because I think the show deserves it. Out of all the shows thus far, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for Loki season 2 because that shit went wild. But I would love just to have the procedural lawyer show. I would love to have like 5, 6, maybe 7 seasons of this. As long as the writing stays on top, because so far I've been loving the writing, and they just keep adapting with the MCU as they go along. I think the show can definitely go the distance.
This definitely, of all of the shows, of all the MCU so far, this is the most like this is a TV show because this is leaping other like lawyer TV shows. Right. So like those shows run for 1,000 years. So like it's as long as the writing's there and like the actors are willing to be mocapped up to death. This is the easiest show to get multiple seasons with, I think.
Yeah, because you can just check the pulse of the MCU around big event films that she will sometimes be in and sometimes not. I agree. I think that there's a lot of opportunity in that, and I think they should. I think they will. I think She-Hulk probably will have a season 2 and more.
Fingers crossed.
And you know what? If they wanted to save on CG, they could have like a half season where like, oh no, I lost my Hulk powers. I can't be the Hulk. So I'm just Jen. And I'm like, well, there you go. I would watch Tatiana do that for free. Whatever.
It doesn't even necessarily take that. Like just if she's not working for the same boss who forces her to transform into She-Hulk when she's in the law office, then you can work around that very easily.
It's true.
It's a weird choice that they made themselves have to be committed to that kind of CGI.
Yeah. And all the scuttlebutt behind the scenes of like, oh, we actually need less She-Hulk in this scene and more She-Hulk in this scene. Like that really just messes with your VFX artists when they have deadlines and shit. So like, planning ahead is also good for the future.
The poor VFX artists, but they're doing the best they can.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for more. I'm excited to talk to you guys about it when there is more.
In 2 more weeks.
Yeah. 2 more weeks. Until then,
perhaps very, very good chance we're going to see Matt Murdock by then.
100%.
Yay!
100%.
That's the thing I'm really looking forward to most, to see Daredevil. I saw Charlie Cox in No Way Home. Damn it, I want to see Daredevil. I want to see my boy again. Damn it!
I still think it'd be really funny if it ended up being D-Man, the really obscure character who looks just like Daredevil, but we know it's Matt.
I think he'll be in the end of the next episode, and then
didn't we say at the end of episode 5? That was when we predicted. That seems right.
Say, yeah.
Feels right. And a 5 in 6. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be the tag in episode 5, and his main episode is episode 6.
Whoop whoop. Yeah. Feels good. Look good. Feel good.
All right. So this is Fake Nerds Watch. We will be back with more She-Hulk in about 2 weeks or so for episodes 5 and 6. I have been Ben Magnet. You could follow me on the internet at BenMagnet27 on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Sparkz, where can people find you?
You can find me definitely convinced that I could get Megan the Stallion at Sparkz Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
I love that scene so much. I love that so damn much. Anyways, Ryan, where can people find you, bud?
You can absolutely find me killing for Megan the Stallion at DJ Tony Snark 616 because I love her and she showed up in the MCU. So how can I complain?
Exactly. And also, of course, all three of us are part of the Fake Nerd Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Fake Nerd Podcast. And if you want to get in touch with the show, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. And of course, we have the website. It's been on the ticker down below. It's scrolling past us the entire time we've been talking about She-Hulk. fakenerdpodcast.com is essentially your hub for all things Fake Nerd. And our other shows are there as well. So definitely go ahead and check that out. So we're all excited for more She-Hulk. We're all excited for what's going on. So until next time, everyone, stay fake nerds.
Body, yaddy, 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 body, yaddy.